Hello everyone, welcome to the New Children Way of Healing webinar. I'm here today to be with you all, and I honour each of you for coming or listening. I know there's a fair few that are going to listen after the fact, and I'm also doing it again at 7:30 tonight just to catch anyone who would prefer the nighttime slot. But these are my little friends that you can see here. I'll just clear this. The new children, I'm hoping to bring forth that energy today as far as us understanding that it's the new children that are asking us to look at this new way of healing. Not so much me and not so much any of the professionals here right now. It's the new children energy that's coming through that's showing us in many ways how we need to change things to heal our children in many different ways. So obviously I'm talking quite broadly today, and soon I will start narrowing down into the different things that are going wrong for our children, how we can help them specifically. But really it's looking at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture there's the common threads. So that's what we're going to look at today. So if you haven't met me yet, I'm Heidi Hosking. I feel that I'm a voice for the new children, to stand up for them. And so then obviously I am a guide for the mothers that are coming through to help them to see what their children are telling them in different ways. I've created the New Children Healing Sanctuary, which is going to open in April, and also my mother-child healing approach, which is all about looking at how we are intertwined as mother and child and what we need to do to be looking at that bigger picture again. I've had roughly 15 years experience, passionate experience working with children, the sensitive new children. This is what I've come to see by working through them all with my background in speech pathology. And then I've since studied health coaching, really interested in many topics such as new age health and energetics topics. I've got an interest in fussy eating and the food sensitivities, emotional intelligence, helping mums to do their dark work to find their emotional intelligence and getting rid of all those inner hurts that we've never really been shown how to get rid of in our life. I could go on, but yeah, and also definitely unleashing our intuitive powers, but also for our children as well. So that's where I'm coming from in bringing forth this message that I am getting very clearly to bring forth to all the mothers. All right, so here we go. I've got a massive list on the slide of all the issues that your child might have, but of course there's so many more. Some are even more subtle, just like the child that doesn't look very vibrant. They're just really in their shell, right through to, you know, a disability. There's so many different things that we could look at here. And really, it's us as the mothers that have to go, okay, well, this is a challenging journey. We've got to be honest with ourselves. These sensitive new children are not making it easy for us. But when we start to look at, okay, would I like this mothering journey and parenting journey to be on a challenging front, or would I like to see it as a loving adventure that, yes, is difficult, but I can do it with magic and ease? Which way would we like to take? And so that's what I want to guide you on today, is to get out of the dark forest and into the light forest where we can see the path much more clearly. I won't talk lots today about who the new children are. It's on my website, heidihosking.com. I've written a fair bit there. But I see it as all children coming through in this generation. They are more highly sensitive, and to different degrees. Some are even more highly sensitive than others, than all of our generations past. When we look at it, they are here to awaken us up as mothers, and some of us have come here to our parenting journey already awakened and then gone, oh my gosh, this is just crazy. I've got so much stress and so many different things coming at me. I have to learn new different things because of this child. So it still is that awakening journey. And others, of course, it was like me. I became awakened once I saw what was going on for my child, and I had to look further and further myself. So that's their mission, is to come here with love and light, to poke at our buttons and to really show us a different way. And unfortunately, things have got to get really bad for us to look at it. And that's where you look at this, list of all the health opportunities that our children have. So whilst people might call it, I'm sorry, let's pull my video down a bit. Whilst people might call it issues, I really like to refer to it as health opportunities. Like, it might be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, behavioural opportunities, because they are an opportunity for us to look at what do we need to change for our child, not that it's an issue and, oh my gosh, this is causing me stress. And we're going to go through that today to see how can we switch to that more easily. I'm just trying to think if there's something else I was going to say on that, but the main thing is that we're moving away from the old paradigm, which we'll go on to the next slide. And that was, you know, generations past, it was more fear-based. It was we had to look up to the experts for advice. We've all been conditioned a lot, you know, even in the last few generations, we need to look to the doctor or even the teacher, the person that we send our child to, they will know the best. And of course, as soon as we've done that, we've disempowered ourselves as mothers because we haven't listened to our intuition as much. And for some mothers, they have. Other mothers have completely lost their intuition, but it still is a journey to be able to stand up to these people and say, oh, my intuition is saying this and it's different to what you're telling me. And the whole world around us that can be saying that message towards us. And typically, yes, the old paradigm has been quite fear-based in, you need to do this or this will happen, or I'm the doctor, I'm telling you your child's not going to talk, or they'll never get to mainstream school, you know, worst case scenarios, things like that. And they see the child as the problem. So for an example, it might be a child who's having meltdowns all the time, and they might go, okay, well, we need to refer them to a psychologist. We need to see what's going on with them, and we need to give that mother some strategies to deal with how that child is behaving. And they have missed the point of looking at what's going on around food, what's going on around their stress and the emotions that they're carrying in their day-to-day life, but also what's going on around them in their energetic environment for their parents, how are they stressed, and how are they responding to their child when they have this meltdown. And that includes, you know, childcare staff, schooling staff, whoever's around the child. So they're basically focusing in on the child. And today I'm going to basically say, well, we're shifting into the new paradigm, and this is where a lot of mothers are having this chaos right now. I don't know what's going on. My child's got so many challenges here in front of me. I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I don't have the support. No one's showing me any easier way. And so we're all overwhelmed, confused, you know, frustrated, exhausted, feeling guilty that we can't do this any better. And we actually then start to feel like, is this my life? Like, we get through the sleep issues and then, oh, okay, they've got difficulties with food. Or then we get through the behavioural stuff and they finally move on and they're either being bullied or they are the bully. You know, it just goes on until we can go, hang on, well, let's stop. Let's not go down that route of fear-based stuff, and let's look at how we could do it in a different way with hello, I can see someone else has just jumped on. Oh, hey, Danny. Nice to see you on here. So we're going to switch from the old paradigm where it's all, you know, fear-based and looking at the child right now to the new paradigm where we're going to start looking at the bigger picture. And so many of us mothers are here getting awakened by our children, if we're not already, to say, I want to do this differently. I want more for my child. I want more for myself. I want to do this with power, with my voice, with my love, naturally, and from the root cause. I don't want to be told what to do and I go home and I do it and it really doesn't solve the problem. I had an experience myself as a speech pathologist dealing with fussy eaters as the expert and sending mothers home, and little did we know until I looked further, there were just so many factors going on for the mother at home and what she believed for her child and what she was doing and how that relationship went on at home. They were shooting themselves in the foot, and so hence it was very frustrating for the mother and even myself to see we really weren't making a lot of progress because me as the expert was not really doing it for the mother. So now the new paradigm, we're going to move on from that, and we are going to look at how can we as mothers be the main guiding light for our children, and then using that, how can we then see, you know, exactly who do we need to see to help us and exactly what knowledge do we need to make the exact right changes to really, you know, blow it out of the park. So with the new paradigm, here comes my new way that the new children have kind of pushed me to see. And there's two parts. So basically it's all around energy. It's the missing link that I see that the medical world and, you know, obviously the schooling world and the authorities have not seen in really truly healing our children from the root cause naturally and with love. And it goes with the fact that our children are highly sensitive. So obviously there's that link that we need to make to go, okay, wow, we actually really need to respect their sensitivities and actually really need to come at that together with them so we can meet them and move forth together, rather than this battle of we see you doing this wrong and these children have got these issues and we know where it's going. So 2 points. So we've got the energetic environment that we need to change for our children to really raise the vibrations. They're very sensitive. They're asking us to do that so that they can fit into this earth environment much more easily. And then the other part is the mother-child connection. So that goes with my mother-child healing approach, where we're going to look at, okay, so what's going for mum, what's going for child, who needs to go first in being healed, and what do we do and how do we do that? You know, that even, it seems huge and it seems a bit kind of, but hang on, my child's still got all these issues. What am I going to do? So what I do want to acknowledge is, for anyone watching, is that yes, your child definitely will still have those, you know, glaring issues in the face at us to say, yes, there's something wrong, there's something wrong. And it is a huge act of love to say, okay, right, I know there's those things wrong, but I'm going to look at mother-child connection. I'm going to look at the whole energetic environment and not just hone in on just that one thing. And so that's where it does become this new way to look at it. And it's, you know, the early adopters that are going to come in first to go, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense to me. I'm going to do this without the scientific proof and all of that behind it, even though it's catching up with quantum physics even. Okay, so in going on about energy, please do chime in if you've got anything to say, any questions at all for each of you watching. I've got heaps to go through, so I'm just kind of moving on, but please do, you know, feel free to chat at all in the chat box. So this is my Healing and Thriving Diamond, and it basically says this is what we need to look at when we're going to raise the vibrations for ourselves, you know, mother, child, the whole family. We need to look at all of this. And so we start to look at the big picture a bit more, and we start to go, okay, you're right. Some of us have already started to notice food really does need to shift for our children. I am putting it out there that every child has food sensitivities to a degree. I would argue we all do as well. You know, there's those foods we don't just love. So that's even a topic in itself to, you know, help mums to see, okay, I probably need to look at food, you know, starting off with how can we make all of this a more high vibe diamond than a lower vibe diamond, because all of this can be quite lower vibe. Food, obviously, we start with sugar, food additives, the lower vibe processed, you know, food. Those are the things that we can change, and we start to bring in more high vibe foods for our children. And yes, I hear you going, hang on, but what about if my child doesn't eat that? And so that's what, you know, we do work through that as well. They are the steps, but this is our guiding light. And then obviously food sensitivities as well. So really getting our children to that place of intuitive eating and us. So that's that mother-child thing of going, okay, I respect you. There's something there that really is a struggle for you. Maybe that's your body telling you something, and how do we build up that intuition around it and for ourselves? Then toxins, again, a lot of people have started looking at, okay, I need to change, you know, to the natural cleaning and personal products. And this is for mother and child, obviously. So, you know, for us as mothers, we can change different things. They're the obvious ones. They're out in the external world. And then we've got the less obvious ones, and the ones that are harder to go there, which is harder, you know, for me to bring it up as well, to go, okay, yeah, we've got to, is to look at emotions and relationships. So emotions, as far as emotional intelligence and starting to actually be able to acknowledge our feelings and express them, mother and child. But, you know, obviously for us as mothers, we've got a whole lot of stored emotion there from the rest of our life and, you know, beyond past lives and whatnot to clear as well. So most mums that I've met are doing a bit of dark work, you know, with healers and letting things go and seeing what is coming up in certain different ways. I want to make it, you know, the safest thing ever for all of us just to go, yes, let's get in there and do this. And particularly as a community in a group together, we can smash it out of the park, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Relationships, the same thing. A lot of it is not seen as what is the relationship, you know, with a mother and a child. How does that come into play when we're looking at any of our child's issues? How does that change when we make it more high vibe relationship? How does it change when we make our emotions more high vibe and start to clear away some of that dark stuff? So that's the premise, is to move forward looking at this diamond to start to go, okay, yeah, we need to start looking, cleaning up our environment, raising the vibrations, knowing that, of course, when we're higher vibe, physical disease can't happen as easily, let alone, you know, emotional issues, behavioural issues. It's all going to improve out of sight when we focus on raising the vibrations. And I'm sure a lot of you know this. It's just one of those things for us to start to go, okay, I'm ready, let's do this, and actually, you know, keep taking those steps forward in doing it and finding the way, you know, the best way and the easiest way for you to do it, and feeling safe to do that and supported too. So what we're going to do is just quickly look at the mother side. The mother-child connection is so strong. We have our soul contracts entwined, and you know, we even carry, you know, the DNA patterning, everything. There is that energy connection there in so many different ways. So we need to look at ourselves as the mothers, and I'm saying this, that we need to look at ourselves first, which does make some people uncomfortable. Hang on, what? But my child's really sick, or my child's got this going on. And really, if we want to do this and do it properly and do it well, we look at this from the start. So we're going to go around this diamond ourselves. Obviously, I've just gone through that. And we're going to start saying, oh, yeah, if I raise the vibrations in so many different ways for myself, how would that be for my children? What would they start doing differently if I was more high vibe? What would my partner be like if I was more high vibe? And so that then becomes basically our work in going, okay, my job is to raise my vibrations as the mother, and then I can have stronger relationships with my child. I can open my heart more to them and be on their page. I can have more intuition. I've got more conviction. I've got a whole lot of things behind me that then it becomes a whole lot easier to go, okay, what's left to my child? What do I need to help you with? Or, you know, where do we need to go, and, you know, to heal you with whatever is left over? But through the mums that I've been mentoring with this approach, it's amazing to see what drops away once we start working on ourselves for our child, that we start to laugh and go, oh, remember you came with, you know, this and this issue for your child, and actually what it boils down to is just this little one thing. So then we can do it as an empowered mother without all the fear and, oh my gosh, these people are saying this is wrong with my child, and oh my gosh, to I'm cool in myself now, and I can see very clearly what's going on, and I can see exactly what I need to work on, and all the rest I'm really strong on to go, no, we're cool. So my big statement is that we can only heal our children as much as we're willing to heal ourselves. So that's a huge one in itself. Please do chat and write anything down if that brings up anything. I've basically seen that, and I've gotten it very clearly. The message from the new children is that, yeah, until we start to do this, we're going to go round and round with the issues and the challenges with our children until mothers start going, okay, you're right, I'm going to do this. Okay, yeah, right, I'm going to do this. And obviously it's a long path, so we don't have to just step up and do the whole thing at once. But the more mothers even just say, yep, I'm declaring I'm going to do this for myself and my children, then all of a sudden it's amazing what starts to change and shift for us. So then we look at the sensitive new children. And, you know, as I've said, yes, there is definitely healing to be done for our children. There's a whole lot of different facets to look at. But again, we look at this diamond and we go, okay, yeah, if we raised their vibrations with food, toxins, looked at the emotions they're holding on to and their relationships with us and everyone around them, if we got that to a really high vibe spot, what would then be left? And I'm saying we don't need to sweep their shit under the rug. No, we get to that. Obviously, we do look at that as well. But obviously, it is not the main part of the problem. So I hope you can see by already me saying, really, if we flip the old paradigm on its head, we're going to start to look at the big picture, and we're going to start looking at ourselves, and even that interplay of a bit with me, a bit with you. I'm looking at your diamond too. You know, you don't have to do it one before the other. But to start to go, okay, it's really easy for me to focus on their glaring issues, but I really need to keep coming back to myself and go, okay, what else does that mean for me? And seeing these children as such wise beings that are coming through, not necessarily consciously being able to tell us, I'm pushing on this button for you today, but they are doing it. And the more we pay attention, the more we start to realize they are doing it. All right, so with this mother-child connection, we go, okay, so that's great. We've got the 2 diamonds to work on. I know what I'm doing, but why does it still feel so hard and challenging to, conceptualize and do all of that? So I've used my little motif here today to show you that this is our children here, and the rest of this is the mother. So this is us, and we're connected in, of course. But this part here, this line, is the wall between us. And the wall is basically fear. So the fear is blocking us off from our children in so many different ways, but that's what's making it even harder for us just to go, okay, easy, I know what to do, I can do this, and yet we're on our high path out of all the challenging times as a parent. So the fear is the thing that we've come here on earth, to challenge ourselves and get back to love each time. And that's basically what creates our, I don't like to say challenges, but our opportunities to step forth as a mother to go, okay, yeah, what's next? So when we look at that, we're going to take a quick look into the darkness. I'm going to take my lantern. Thank you, Annalisa, for putting that out there. We'll go in the darkness, but we can still take our light and just start to have a quick look at what's going on, and then we'll come back to the light. But really, I'm saying there's got to be no more sweeping shit under the rug and, oh, we don't want to go there, we don't look at all that, because it's got to be looked at. So external fear. So I'm basically saying, first off, let's look at the external fears that are around us that make it hard for us to fathom, taking these steps forward for our children. And of course, it's any health expert, anyone, not even doctors, the professionals, pediatricians, but even like naturopaths, anyone, there's a speech pathologist that comes to us and says, this is what you need to do for your child. And that can really spark off a whole lot of fear, depending on what they say and what they tell us. It can spark off a whole lot of disempowerment when we go, oh, okay, I'm feeling like that's not the right thing. But that's where it's at. So, and I'm not saying that it's not warranted, with some of, these health professionals that need to say this, but sometimes they don't. So whether it's needed to be said, like a diagnosis, or you need to take this, or you need to go and see this person, or I think this is wrong with your child, whatever it is, there's still a hit of fear. We still go home, and I've had this experience and I've watched myself each time it's come again and again. I feel a bit of fear, like, oh my gosh, now I'm worrying, now I've got to deal with this. What does that mean for me as a mother? There's a whole lot of things that come to us that makes us go, oh. And if we're not really careful, if we sit in that fear energy, we then go and project it at home to our children. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pick on you now because you're not doing X, Y, Z because that, teacher said that was wrong with you. And really, we need to come back to the love energy just to go, okay, yeah, great, there's some things going on and I can work with that, but what does this mean for me? And so childcare, schooling staff, the same thing. I've had a lot of mothers that have walked out of school and said, well, they've told me, my child's got this, this, and this. You need to go see a psychologist, or you need to go see a pediatrician, whatever it is. And they walk away feeling really disempowered. And then it even comes down to the well-meaning friends, our family, partners, everyone around us that give us the doubt, the confusion over our intuition of what we feel like we need to feel like we know for ourselves. And it's not fun. And that's again why I say we need to come together as mums to be able to do this together. So we've got us to bounce off each other and go forth in strength. So yeah, if we don't have the awareness and the resources around us, we can really get swallowed up by fear quite quickly, depending on where we're at. And so let's take the lantern again now to look at what's going on. Our internal fears. So of course, we as mothers don't come without our fear as well in our darkness. I've put 3 things here. It boils down to our inner hurts, all the emotional stress that we've carried for our whole life that we haven't expressed yet. The guilt, rage, frustration, anger, sadness, like from way back, but also even, at the start of our parenting journey and onwards, often there's a lot there that we haven't expressed. Fear-based patterning, the perfectionism, the martyrhood, all that control stuff, the guilt that really changes how we interact with our children if we're on that path of, oh no, but we need to do it like this, and oh no, I feel really bad, so I'm not going to worry about this. It takes us in a different trajectory than coming back to love and going, okay, yeah, I can see what we need to do. Let's do this instead. And then our limiting beliefs, which are always fun to work through. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy as a mother. I'm not good enough as a mother. Like, that's a huge one that, will play back to us. But also, I can't afford this. I'm not fun enough to do that. That's not the journey for me. All sorts of different things. And so that can really sabotage what we're doing, whether we've taken our child for therapy, for, speech therapy or psychologist. If we come home and we go, I don't know, like, I'm working here on this fussy eating, but I'm really getting mad with you creating mess, or I'm getting so stressed that you're not eating and you really absolutely need to. Of course, we're sabotaging ourselves on what we're able to do with our child, just by what we're carrying as a mother. So that's a lot to take in, and yes, it is a lot to fathom, to go, oh gosh, do I have to go there with all of this? And really, I keep stressing, this is a lifetime's journey. It's so long. We're going to be doing this till we die, like clearing things through and looking at what we're doing. So when we look at it that way, we don't see like we need to heal everything tomorrow. When we get rid of our perfectionism and expectations and our limiting beliefs, we can go, okay, right, what's the next step forward? And we go through the dark forest and we get ourselves out of there, one step at a time. So the main thing to remember is, if we're open to the fear, once we open to that and we go, okay, yeah, I just got to do this, where next? Then we can start to go, right, I'm ready for this. What are we going to do next? And that's where we just come back to that whole sitting in here to look at, I'm going to blast through this wall of fear with the external fear that's coming at me and my internal fear. And I'm going to go forward in basically creating such a strong connection with my child, with my heart, with our energy, that, yeah, we can do anything. It really becomes, okay, what's our children's potential? Whereas at first we're starting with, let's heal ourselves and our children. So this is now, once we've worked energy diamond for ourselves as a mother, and we start to go, yeah, all right, I'm ready to face that fear, we can start to see, right, light and dark work. We need to raise our vibrations, but we also need to clear out shit as well. Then we start to look at this. So basically, this is us as the mother and what we need to do to be embodying our warrior mother, so that then we can create and hold such an amazing space for our children to not only heal but go forth in amazing ways. So the first door that I'm going to talk about is energy. Obviously, that is what I've been talking about the whole morning, and that first starts with the diamond. So we start with the diamond, we raise the vibrations, we look at where that's going, because often that's the easiest thing. Once we've gone through that door, and there's lots of different ways that we do it, we start to get clarity, because we've dropped that brain fog from what we've eaten, we've gotten rid of the toxins, we start to go, whoa, we've cried it out, and we've written and journaled out a pile of stuff that we've been holding on to, and we start to go, wow, this is amazing. All of a sudden, we can literally see clearly and go, I know what the actual problems are now. I can feel into my child a whole lot better. I can be on their page a whole lot better, because I don't have all these stresses and worries up to here that I'm holding on to. And then it just becomes clear. And so as soon as we get clarity, we start to go, I'm ready to take a stand, and we get that fire in our belly and that power that, yeah, no, this is something I'm really going to do. And I hold strong in that, no matter, who's coming at us. And I'm not saying this whole path is easy. And so then we unlock our voice, because then we have to go out to the external world and start to really explain what we're doing and, being out there. I know, Danny, obviously you've had some fun times with that too. And so then we move on to love. So love obviously is, pervading this whole thing. So it's not the end part, but the more we crack our hearts open and open and open with more of the darkness that we're letting out of ourselves. So you can see obviously the dark work is a big part of this. Then we start to be able to go, oh, okay, I can be on your page. I can see things from your point of view. I can see where, we need to just drop all that stuff that doesn't matter, and I can really hold space and move forward with you as a child. But until we've gotten to that point, often we can keep getting sucked back to, my child's having these meltdowns. It is so hard. They're so annoying. They're making my life hell, etc., etc. And you get dragged well out of the heart energy, and then it becomes more mum versus child as opposed to mum and child together. And obviously that, comes down to all of the issues with our child. If we're there and we're supporting them on their page with our huge heart energy, we can do amazing things, and we can really hold that space to be able to believe for them of what is possible, as opposed to the other side. I'm stressed, I don't like this, my parenting journey is a challenge, I've got my partner, you know, on different side, my family I don't want to see, my friends don't even get it, and we get really embroiled in what's going on. And basically, again, we're going to that darkness as opposed to let's come out in the light and, you know, see what everything is. So now our journey. So we're going to unlock the energy door. And today, obviously, I did put out there, and I forgot to say at the start, we're going to unlock the energy door with 3 golden keys today. But what I will say is, and what I've learned over the years, is there are many, many, many ways to skin a cat. And there's many, many, many ways to raise our vibrations and really unlock that energy door. And they will be different for all of us. So that's why I say I'm a guide. I'm not going to teach you, you know, anything particular, because it might not be your way. But these are 3 that I've picked as I feel like they're important, and to give you a gauge of, oh, what I could do for myself as a mother first, and to kind of play around with that just to see what would happen with my children and my family if I focused on that. Okay, so the first key, and for some reason that got cut off, we've got is relationships. It's from the relationships point of that diamond. So if you can see there, so I'm basically just picking different energy keys that we can use from this diamond. So the first one from relationships is give your child their positive diagnosis. And I'm not going to stop talking about this, so I'm just fixing my screen up, I feel like it's moving, for a long time, because I have seen, you know, through my work with children with disabilities, but even towards, you know, my son who is gifted at school, a diagnosis really puts children in a box. We all know that, but it's that energy of what's wrong with the child that I really don't like. Gifted maybe not so much, but it really does bring in, oh, okay, what do we need to look at with this child? What's wrong straight away, as opposed to, hang on, what is this child bringing through? This is a new child, very sensitive, amazing gifts coming through. How can we help them? How can we get rid of those earth blocks through this diamond to really bring them forth? So obviously we can look at, you know, really simple things like what's their star sign, their life path number, what is the meaning of their name even, taking note and tuning in with our children. What are they really drawn to? What comes really easily to them? And some of it is quite subtle. So again, the more we clear out our darkness, the more we've got the energy and the resources to focus and see the little things that our children are doing. So the new children types, I've obviously put a quiz out there, and I really hope that you guys have all taken the chance to do it and see if that resonates with you for your child. But basically that's the energies that they're bringing through strongly. And so then we can start to look at this and go, okay, that's a guide to look at the strengths of our child as well. And what does this mean? And I'm going to talk more and more about this as well. In my New Children Healing Sanctuary, we go through the whole New Children Type Guide book for your child and see their sensitivities in a whole lot more detail to really go, okay, wow, this is amazing. Look at my child. And we start to see them in such a loving light. But for today, you know, just quickly, and I have done a Facebook Live just the other night on this in Aunt Alicia's Facebook group, Awakened Parenting - the New Children. I feel like you're all probably in there. I think that's you, Deb, is it? Soul Logic. I just had a thought. Sorry. So yeah, so I won't go into it in a lot of detail today, but the main thing is, you know, if your child has that star energy to go, wow, you know, they've got the potential, they might not show it right now, to be quite intuitive and bring through quite amazing intuitive gifts from the galaxy right down to earth. And you can see right now that's really needed. We need a lot of new, you know, technology, even healing, like amazing artwork and whatnot that they can bring through with that star energy. The heart energy, obviously, they're the little ones that can feel into others so well. So they're going to be like amazing healers and teachers. And then the earth energy are the ones that are super grounded, which is so great for, you know, someone like me, that I look at them and go, oh, I'd love to be like that more. But they have that connection with the earth and the elements, which is also extremely important for us moving forth into this new paradigm. So by looking at those new children types, we can also see why things are tricky for them. And that's where we, you know, once we've opened our hearts more, we can hold space and go, okay, yeah, right, I can see, you know, for a cosmic star child that has but, you know, hasn't integrated the heart and the earth energy as easily and as much yet. Obviously, that's a lifetime's work. They might have, trouble connecting with other people if their heart energy isn't so integrated. They might be spacey if they're not, integrating their earth energy so well, and vice versa with all the different types. So that means that we can start to see it in both ways, just to go, okay, yeah, cool. I can see what's coming and I see where you're going. I can see the vision, down the track. I can notice it even in day-to-day in the little things, but I can also then see what's, blocking you as far as food, emotions, toxins, relationships. And we start to see, actually, since they've been born, a lot of these blocks have all come in on down on them. They were born, quite perfect and, beautiful shining lights. It's us that need to really look at that. So again, we say, let's flip the old model on its head and let's look at ourselves and how we can change this environment energetically for our children. So yeah, go away and have a feel into it. I've got some mums that I work with and they've literally gone, when I actually went to write down my strengths, strengths of my child, one child in particular was really tricky because they're a really tricky child and I feel like it's a struggle. And so then we look into that to go, okay, what's that all about? And, what can you see? Is there stuff that they're shining at about you that you don't like in yourself, which actually is the gift? It's just hard for you to acknowledge, oh yeah, okay, that's my gift and I need to go there and need to do something about it. So there's lots of different facets to look at in that as well. So emotions, the emotions point on this diamond here, we're going to look at that now, is to raise your vibrations with your mind. I feel like this is a really big one and a really cool one, witchy magic, that what could we do with our mind if we started to really strengthen our mind as mothers? And again, doing our dark work and letting go of all of the stuff we're holding on to helps us to then have the mental resources to use our mind. But today, what I want you all to do is to think of an experience that really uplifts you. So it might be something that you've already been and done, or it might be something imaginary. So initially when I started doing this myself, I had to imagine, and it was just, I've won $1 million. But you all pick whatever you want. I've won this. This has just happened. Someone's just said this to me. And so when I went into that feeling, when I was mad or I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm sick of this, I started playing with, what if I just won $1 million? Things wouldn't be so bad. I would be different. And then you start to see what things might change for you as a mother when you go, if I just won $1 million, I really wouldn't care if they ate that last mouthful or not. If I just won $1 million, I'd go, yeah, let's sit here. Let's all have a dance in the car till you're ready to get out. While you're having your tantrum, we're going to sit here and dance. You can start to see how things might be different if you were carrying that energy. And of course, that's where we just go, right, it's not that easy to hold that energy for so long. But the aim is, imagine if you could get to there where you wake up every day and you feel like it's your birthday every day and you're like, this is going to be a good day. And even if stuff comes to you, it doesn't drag you right down. You've got that point where you actually go, I'm never getting down to those low vibes like I used to, which is kind of where I got to the more I worked on the diamond for myself. And I'd love to see, more and more and more mums getting to that point where we can go, yeah, okay, I can see the shit that's going on that really doesn't matter. That's old paradigm stuff, control, and, I'm being perfect or I'm worrying too much, all that stuff, it just can go away. And feel it in your body. So when you go into that experience, just be there, for a minute, even a couple of seconds. And each time you go there, just notice what changes in your body. Do you sit up straight? Do you puff your chest out more? Do you feel like I'd feel a hit to my solar plexus of power? Obviously, I was sucking in there. So that was the bit that released me. Do you feel a lightness in your crown, or maybe like a strength in your base? Maybe your heart just explodes. What happens for you? Because that's also some clues as to where you can move forward as a mother as well. But as we say, like, this sounds like light work, we're raising our vibrations, but it's also dark work, because we have to then look at ourselves to go, I could choose to do this at any point, at any time. And you go, oh my gosh. So if my child's having a tantrum, or my husband's really walked in and he's just mad and whatnot, I can still choose to hold that I've just won $1 million feeling. And then we start to have to challenge our own ego self that really wants to say, nah, but he deserved that. I'm going to yell anyway. I'm so sick of it. Or I've got to get out of here now. I don't have the time for this. All those little monkey mind thoughts that come in and wants to drag us back down. That's our beginnings of our dark work, to go, no, I could choose. And it's hard work, initially, to let that go and lighten ourselves back up again. So whatever you've picked today, if it's, winning $1 million, I know someone said, I've just won a year's pass at a yoga studio, whatever it has to be, go there and raise your vibrations. And, once we declare that we're ready to do this, then it becomes easier. When we're like, oh yeah, I guess I could do it, our ego self will always keep coming back and go, no, don't worry about that. Just don't do it. And it won't happen. Third golden key. So again, I've picked another one from the emotions point, is plugging your energy leaks. So this is a big one that's come from the old paradigm of all the shoulds. Focusing on shoulds, obviously there's heaps of ways that we can plug energy leaks, and we do this through the whole 6 months in my New Children Healing Sanctuary. But as you can imagine, the more we plug our energy leaks, we call our energy back to ourselves, we have more energy, and then we can start to see, oh, okay, yeah, what else should I be doing? What would be a better thing to do with my time than overthinking about things, worrying about things, spending physical, mental, and emotional energy on stuff. So, you guys can write out your list of shoulds, even starting, where is a should that you can go straight away? I always feel like I should put on the Christmas, lunch, or I feel like I should make this big birthday cake, or I should put on a birthday party, or I should, get up and clean up the whole house before visitors come. Where are your shoulds? Because that's a good start in going, all right, what if I woke up tomorrow and had an unperfect day and just thought, nah, I'm just going to do what I feel like I need to do and ignore all the shoulds. And you start to go, whoa, there's probably a fair bit there. Some of it, our ego will hide under the rug and actually give us defenses over, oh no, but I really do need to do this because, so again, we unravel slowly but surely, but there's obviously, for most mums, we can think of a few shoulds straight up that you could go, okay, what if I never did that again? What if I never felt like I had to actually do this? Or what if I chose to do it in an empowered way as opposed to feeling like I should? So once we do that, we start to go, again, it's light work because we're bringing our energy into a better state, but it's also dark work because we have to then start to go, what does that mean? If my family rocks up and the floors haven't been vacuumed, I'm going to cop judgment. I've got to release that. What does it mean, if X, Y, Z happens? And it even comes down to, what if I realized I felt like I should clean the whole house every week, but what if I didn't? What would I do with my time? And then we start to look around left and right and go, I guess I could spend some more time with my kids, which is obviously a big one. And we start to see what's been holding us in, where we can start to break out and get balance, which is the main thing, for the mother-child connection, is to be balanced in, what we're doing for them in every different way, but also having the time with them. So that's 3 golden keys. It's a lot, I know, and those are the types of things, though, that, again, we see it as a big, long journey, and maybe these ones wouldn't be your, extremely big golden keys. Maybe they are. Maybe one is more so than the other. But that's where we kind of move to, is start to look at ourselves in lots of different ways. And this is why I guide mothers to help them to do this, because otherwise you can literally be in the dark forest going, I don't know where to start. It is not easy to know because it's not really talked about. It's not really done. So it's one of those things that a lot of mums I see just going round and round going, I'd really like to do some dark work, or I would like to be a better mother, but I just don't know how. Okie doke. So then we go on to, all right, so as you can see, there's a lot that we can shift as mothers before we even look at our children's opportunities. I've said this so many times in this webinar. I'm hoping that everyone's cool with that. But that's the main thing that the New Children are saying. Please look at, opportunities that we're glaring at you as the mother to move forward. And in cleaning up their environment and doing our light and our dark work, we can do amazing things. But it's not easy. It's a long path. It goes, for years, basically. So then we have to start to go, okay, right, I'm going to do this one step at a time. And this is why I'm so big on doing let's do this all with mothers as a group and community so that we can all support each other. We don't have that these days where, you know, think about the Aboriginal mamas sitting around. There was that, you know, circle, sisterhood, all of that, you know, right now we're all just doing it for ourselves, basically. And so this is the bigger picture. Finally, we get to mother, child, 2 diamonds. So yes, it can look like a lot. There's 8 points. But in saying that, I want to point out that we've got the journey right now as a parent. We have chosen it. We can take the challenging path or we can take the adventure. Either way, we're going to get one path or the other. So that's why I'm saying, let's go the loving path. Let's go the easy path. Or the easier path anyway, and let's start to make, you know, the law of attraction work for us. Let's make the universe go, hey, come on, we need some help here, and, you know, how can we do this more easily? But if we think about, you know, like a doctor, where do they even start on these 2 diamonds? You go, they barely even get, you know, if we're focusing on the child, maybe food, probably not even toxins, and barely even emotions and relationships. So that's obviously, you know, the Band-Aid approach. We might get to like a naturopath that's, you know, working on, you know, food, maybe toxins. So they're doing a little bit of this. But when we look at the whole thing, we realize there's, you know, there's a lot. And once we look at the bigger picture, I say to mums, use your intuition. Where do you need to start first? Which one would you actually pick if you had to go, you know, work first? So I'm wiping my sweat. It's so hot today here. But you can start to see, okay, yeah, what do we need to look at first? And, you know, knowing the mother-child connection and guiding the mum to the mother's side, they start to go, okay, yeah, right, this is where I need to start over here. And once we've worked on our energy, then we can start to unlock these other doors at the same time while we're helping our child out to start to go, okay, yeah, I'm seeing clearly now, this is what we need to do. And this kind of just guides us to be able to then work on the diamond for our children. And yeah, so then we get to this. So warrior mother here, helping the child going on their journey as well. And of course, you know, it goes on and on, but once we get into this pattern, then we just start to be able to see, okay, yeah, this is the next thing that I need to do. And it doesn't have to be a huge, hard task. So here I am inviting any mother that would like to come on the journey with me to my new children healing sanctuary. It's finally here. I've been going out into the forest and downloading a lot of amazing things for mothers to take this journey. And as I've said, to feel like they are doing this in a safe place. I've created a nice energetic container out in the forest with light for us mothers to come together you will, you know, clean up your child's environment, you will do your light and dark work, but you will have me as the guide, and you will have the other mothers who are, you know, like there's so many out there that are like-minded, all with, you know, similar things going on. You could write a book on the mothers that come to me and I'm like, yep, heard that one before, heard that. And basically going forth. So this is what the new children are asking us to do, is to come together and let's go forth the new way. And obviously that's the early adopters that are ready to go, yep, okay, this is it. This is what I need to do. So the New Children Healing Sanctuary, I'll just go through this briefly, is that to get an understanding of it, it is a 6-month online adventure. I'm not calling it a program because I'm not going to be programming anyone to tell them what to do. Obviously, I'm just guiding you with ideas and resources, but obviously, basically helping you to go back to yourself to find your intuition to be able to see which path you need to take as well. So 3 phases. Welcome to the New Children Healing Sanctuary is the first little phase. We just get to understand the new children. We look at their new children types. We look at their health opportunities and what that means for us and our role as their mothers. And then we go straight into phase 2, the Warrior Mother Retreat. As you can see, that's kind of the bigger part of the journey, is to look at all 4 points of the diamond. We understand our place in the universe. We heal together, do our dark work and our light work, with a lot of, you know, what we haven't done before is looking at emotional intelligence and going, okay, what, you know, how do I work through all of this? Creating family harmony is a huge one. And then we step out as warrior mothers. You know, a journey along the way, of course, we're always embodying our warrior mother. And we will be, you know, obviously as the journey continues. And then the 3rd phase is the New Children Healing Sanctuary in action. So that's when we go around the 4 points in good detail for the children. So we cover, you know, anything around that as well. So you can start to see we kind of shine a positive light on our child so we can actually hold them in that positive light while we do our work, go and do our work, and then we come back and we start to look at, okay, yeah, what can I do to help my children even more, of what's left? And then at that point, if there's not a lot left, we start to then go on the next journey of, well, how can I help their intuitive gifts shine forth? How can I really help them to guide them to their soul purpose? And by the end of it, you know, I know it sounds like a lot, but we're basically aiming for the mothers ourselves to see our soul purpose and to really be on track with that too, not stuck in, you know, some merry-go-round that we're on that we don't love, being able to just see, yeah, okay, this is what it is. And I see a lot of mothers that I'm working with lately, their sole purpose I can see is to go through all this and to bring out all the bits that they've taken from it, and they'll be going forth in, you know, all the different areas and facets and directions that you could to help other mothers and children as well. So the nuts and bolts, 6 months, usual, like our program, guidebooks, videos, audios, some play sheets and resources to keep you on track. Fortnightly warrior mother support circles. So this is, you know, a big thing for me, is to make sure we're coming together, supporting each other. And obviously, you know, there's chances to do questions and answers with me, but also just to be heard and just to go, okay, yeah, I really like to come here and just say my stuff and know I've got the resources myself, you know, and, you know, with the guidebooks and whatnot too, to go away and actually do this myself and feel empowered instead of feeling like I have to go and ask someone for the answer. So that's a really important part of it. And then the private Facebook group, obviously that's the energetic container that we're doing. I like to think of it as the forest. If you need to think of it as the beach, that's cool as well. But basically that's where we come to as well, in between the different modules coming out and the different support circles that we have. And there'll be not challenges, but like adventures and different projects along the way that we do, also to make sure we're all doing it together. So just very briefly, the 4 points around the diamond, just so you can see how that works in the sanctuary, doing our dark work, releasing our past emotions. I've got different ways to help mums to do that. Some prefer to be a journaler. I've got processes for that. Some prefer to look at their physical body where they're holding on to. Lots of different ways. So there's different things in that. Huge work on calling out our ego self and really starting to know when our ego self is coming in versus our higher self. So that's like a pervading part of the whole thing, is to get to be a guru at that and start to let go of all the control and all of those fear-based patternings that we've unfortunately, you know, been gifted, I guess we should say, gifted to work through, to find our glimmers of gifts and whatnot that's still inside us as well, and obviously limiting beliefs. So relationships, this is quite a lot of work with looking at the new children types, because we all have a type as well, and so does our partner, to see the dynamics in the house and who's, you know, more connected to the other, and why is this not, which energy do we need to integrate ourselves as a mother or the father, the different children. That's the way that we can start to see. And the other thing obviously is doing our dark work. We get to get rid of all our crap, so then we can be, you know, the light holders, I guess. It sucks that, you know, a lot of us have to go first in the family to do this, and so we stay there. Okay, yeah, got it. I can see now why the stress is there, and being able to look at ourselves each time. Why am I attracting this in my life? Why am I creating this reality? Because often, you know, not often, every time it is us, you know, attracting this too. So looking at our part in it and seeing what happens to the rest of our family when we start to do this. You become a warrior mother, that's for sure. And then food, you know, these are all the topics for mother and child that we work on. Even intuitive eating for ourselves, we can start to do that in more and more detail, depending on where you're at with food, but only, you know, working towards raising our vibrations and using that as a great tool. And toxins. So obviously, yeah, lifting our brain fog is a huge thing, getting rid of toxins, which might be a new or a not so new path for some mums. So that's the 4 phases. The investment, I've got an early bird on just until the 30th of March. It's $549 up front, or I've got a payment plan there if you like. But after the 30th of March, and I'm holding an energetic boundary very strongly here, the full investment will be $680. I actually feel like the value, you know, it's an investment in your whole future. So 680 I'm basically holding as yes, that's what it is worth right now as we go forth together. On this first round, I will be running other rounds to let you know, but I will say in all honesty, the investment will go up. I'm not about to double it or anything crazy, no fear there or anything, but this is your chance if you would like to join right now. But the main thing is that I want you to consider is that I'm not putting in, you know, freebies and this and that to lure you in. I really am encouraging mums to only join if they're like, yes, I'm ready to do this, bring it on. I see the value in it for my children and for myself and for my family and for my future. I'm ready to do that and, you know, ready to go there and ready to just, yeah, I know there's, you know, I'm putting it out there, you know, the dark work to do, but I can see the value in doing it as a groups together. And the beauty is that this first time, you know, I've got some lovely mums that have already signed up, that we're doing it in a, what I picture as a smaller group than what it will be the next round and the next round. So this is going to be the one that I really would like to, you know, take you forth and, you know, help you as much as I possibly can to, yeah, shine your light. So see this as the investment. So what I want to say, because I find it interesting myself, is to take action where the energy is there. So a lot of mums come to me once the early bird's over and say, oh, I forgot, could I do it? I'm like, if you're really keen, take action while the energy is there and get in, because that's saying to the universe, yeah, I'm all in. I'm ready to invest. I am not spending $20. I'm spending a good amount to basically say, yes, I value this and I'm going to, you know, prioritize it in my life because I can see the value in this and move forward from there. So that's my little spiel on the investment. It will be amazing to have you. And I feel very honoured to have all these lovely mums around me who are at this point in looking forth for their children. I honour you so much for being here. If you want more information, the newchildrenhealingsanctuary.com is my website with the information there. There's a fair bit. And the sign up is there as well, so you can sign up straight away. But otherwise, I will see you all in Awakened Parenting - the New Children, or else you can follow me on my Heidi Hosking page. Go for, what is it, community public figure, I think, rather than my personal page. I think a few people have been seeing my personal page. But yeah, and then from here on in, I have got most people's email addresses. I am basically going to be putting out information around the diamond, so stay tuned for that. But I really would love to see you join the sanctuary and create amazing things for your children and you. Well, that's it. It's 11:27. I didn't plan to how long I'd talk, but I've obviously done about an hour. I'm just going to say, if any of the ladies that are on, oh, sorry, I was about to say, just saw your message, Danny. You feel free to put anything in the chat. So yeah, you said, put into such a great model, gentle and speak directly to your inner child. Makes so much sense that our children are pushing us back to who we really are, so we can allow them to be completely who they are. Exactly, Danny. That's exactly it. Once we unravel that path further and further, we start to see what a gift it is to have our children and for them to take us on this journey. And you know what it is to have a gift, that we are awakened enough to see that and be able to go on that journey for other mothers that don't get to that point. Yeah, it's a struggle and a huge challenge. So I honour them as well. If there's nothing else, then we will end now. But yeah, thank you both ladies for being on here today as well. That was awesome.